Welcome to Onesies, a podcast of one season wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew.
My name's Emily.
And we are still somewhere trekking through the first half of the 1992,
3, 4, doesn't matter.
Horrifying
Two.
ABC nighttime comedy drama going to extremes. Nighttime comedy drama medical procedural.
Episode 6 is what we're on. I will not say the name of it. But the name of it is one of the storylines where Erica Alexander, Kim, and Alex hunt for a maid.
I just called him Fleischman in my notes.
Not hunt. They advertise for a maid. Kim. Oh, well, we'll get into it.
So much to get into.
The first scene we open on is Charlie sleeping in his bed, groaning, making disgusting groaning noises all night because he can't sleep.
Disgusting groaning noises is how I would describe his performance in general.
Yeah, he's pretty...
It's like they gave all of the Fleischman whining to this guy.
Yeah.
And then... like they gave him all of it, but then everybody else kept a little, like the even amount. So it's like they're all variations on Fleischman, just with one aspect amplified, and then the other aspects are still there.
But he's got the whiny, impatient. I don't know. He's very annoying, but he does have a good scene with one gentleman, which I will talk about later. But he's tossing and turning in the opening scene, can't sleep, and then daylight comes, and we actually get a good shot of the interior of the house. Well, the kitchen anyway. I was pretty impressed. It's a nice fucking house. But
I need a maid though, because it's so big.
But turns out Kim, even though he is very attractive,
which multiple people say to him this episode.
Which multiple people say to him, he is a pig and he throws food on the ground and he is very disgusting. So we see him and it looks like he's eating a lime. I have no idea what it is he's eating. Maybe avocado? He just seems to be like peeling open crops, locally grown crops, and eating them, but it's not a mango. It looks like a lime to me. Whatever. And he's tossing things on the ground, and Alex comes in, and I don't know. And then Erica Alexander comes in and complains about what a pigsty the apartment is. And I didn't see that at first. I was pretty surprised. But then there's dishes piled up, and she picks something up off the ground. Of course, we don't see the floor. But, it's kind of a pigsty. And she declares, we need a maid.
They need a maid.
And Kim says... that makes me uncomfortable. And I said, thank you, Kim, for being the voice of reason, hiring, and Erica Alexander says this later, somebody low wages to do hard work.
For long hours.
And it's like, this is not very nice of you. But so that's one of our subplots.
That's
not even the worst one. Not even the worst one.
What do you think the worst one is?
What do I think the worst one is?
Yeah,
I think the worst one is with Charlie.
Okay. So then we'll set the Charlie one aside and we will discuss the de facto not worst subplot that Emily just said. It is about Joanna being courted by a handsome local man,
Roger.
played by Delroy Lindo, in one of his first roles.
Really? So he was really good.
He's really good. Delroy Lindo's really good. He's got the swagger.
He's very charming.
Yep, very charming.
And can I say something? Joanna also very charming in her interactions with him. Yes. This is the best I've seen her. And I was like, yes. Oh my God, they have chemistry. I ship this.
And Delroy Lindo's character would prefer you to ship that, except here's the thing. We're not going to have an interracial romance on Going to Extremes unless it's about Wilford Brimley Fuck Daddy and Native Girls, or possibly Roy D and Native Girls. Carl Lumley's wife will be a smart black woman if she ever shows up. We are not going to be sensationalizing the ABC viewership with an interracial romance in the year 1992.
I was ready for it though, man. I know this is 2023, but I was ready for it. I was just so excited that she had personality and she seemed happy, and I don't know.
For some of the episode, she got to acknowledge that Delroy Lindo's an attractive man. And then at some point she goes, "Oh, wait a second, he's black. Do I have a black friend who could marry him and be his maid?"
Here's this woman who
here's this
random acquaintance whose name I know, but I'm not sure that she knows who I am. But she knows me better than I think she does, and like that was pretty uncomfortable. But I still think that the Charlie thing was worse because he's shouting at them.
Well, okay. So the Charlie thing. I guess hold on. Let's see.
No. We can
in sequence. Oh no, Delroy Lindo was correctly in sequence.
Oh, good.
But I saw him in the opening credits. Yes, but instead, yes, it's Kim and the not being comfortable with servants, pinning that. Okay, yeah. So we meet Delroy Lindo. One of my notes, damn, he's got swagger. Yeah. But then as he leaves, we walk past Charlie, who is helping a young man whose name will be Desmond. And Charlie can't understand him, and so yells at him to slow down, talk quieter,
enunciate.
Be articulate, sir.
The condescending sir thing, really.
Can anyone speak this man's language, which is English with an accent? Multiple times through this episode, people will say things in Going to Extremes patois, the Chet Hanks story, and they'll go, "We can't understand this person at all." And it's like, he just said my tummy hurts.
Yeah.
He said the words tummy hurts.
I got it.
I mean,
it was like very fast, but I got the gist of what he was saying.
I would also wonder, just because you speak patois, can you not understand white guy English?
Yeah.
That needs to be addressed for it not to just appear shockingly
and it is
colonial and racist.
Not addressed in this episode, folks.
No. So then Charlie goes over to ask Kathleen, Joanna going, how to help a patient who you can't communicate with. And she's like, "I don't know, man. I haven't gotten to that chapter yet." And he's like, "There's a chapter?" And I'm like, oh, Charlie's going to be annoying. Let's not forget Charlie was the focus of, was that last episode with his big racist trek through the country? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So for some reason, Charlie's the one. They were just like, you know who's good at being an ignorant racist? Andy Lauer. He's just really fucking good at it. Here you go, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie gets back. The kid is gone because he is a garbage person. To which he responds, solves the language problem. Let's not forget, we've already done an episode, I believe, with Joanna going, where she didn't understand why things were going on and people died. Or was that Colin? People have died because of miscommunication on this show.
Yeah.
Cool. We then cut to Kim and Fleischman on the beach. I'm sorry, Alex.
Walking up the stairs. That was pretty funny.
And Alex is whining that he's 25 and already out of breath. Like,
this was the most Fleischman I've seen him. Like, this is a conversation I can imagine Fleischman having on Northern Exposure. They're like, "Well, you're in such good shape, Chris, climbing these stairs from the beach. I can't even make it this far without losing my breath.
You're so hot, Kim. I think Colin probably would give you a heege."
Oh, that's right. Colin's not in this episode.
Because they broke up.
I was counting at the end when they're at the end, and I was like, somebody's missing. Who's missing? Yeah. I forgot.
Colin didn't show up. Roy D didn't show up. Necrophilia Mom didn't show up. And neither did Carl Lumley.
But we got Wilford Brimley, fuck daddy,
being a very bad teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll note, everyone, that we don't really we're not doing the 3 points thing anymore because it's hard with this show because it sucks so much.
Yeah.
But here is what one of my 3 points would be. Like the plantation. Cheryl is interviewing maid applicants. There are approximately 50 Native women waiting for the application to go in for an interview. We look in on one interview where the woman is saying, my name's Tara, like the plantation. And I'm like, the plantation from fucking Gone with the Wind? Like, what? How is this? So this is the dream of the white person. It is that there is a mystical island somewhere where Black people read Gone with the Wind and wish they could be the servants.
Ooh, this is tough. That was tough to swallow. I was like,
okay.
I gasped a little bit.
Then this is where Kim complains about the house, that they don't need a maid. And Cheryl says, look, you're gorgeous, but your personality's garbage, and so are your table manners. Pitch in, or I think she says a buck off or bug off. It sounds like fuck off. I don't know how they did this. It just sounds like fuck off. And I'm like, right on. Like, you suck too, Eric Alexander, but like, Kim sucks worse.
Yeah.
At this point. Also, dude can't be a slob because he's like in cocoa butter and fucking shiny suntan oil all the time.
His abs are shining constantly.
Right. Like,
constantly
I'm sorry.
glistening.
They play him like he's dropping food on himself. Does it just roll off those fucking toned abs? Okay. So then we cut to Charlie at the bar talking to what initially appears to be just some fellow student who happens to be Black. It will turn out this is Benjamin, who is going to be Charlie's Black friend this episode. Alex has been the one who has a Black friend. Benjamin is new. He's not.
Benjamin is new, but this is the scene when Charlie is, I mean, he's being annoying. But I think this is one of his best scenes. He's got good chemistry with this Benjamin guy. I think this is one of his best scenes. But he immediately shits on it by being an asshole, like being a creep. I can't understand this. What's a patois? And it's like, was there no cultural immersion course that you took before you went to Jamaica? I mean, Jantique.
No.
Like,
was there even a travel brochure, an accurate travel brochure? Okay, that is such a nice read of this.
I know.
I'm like,
so
my
nice.
notes for this end with, okay, Chet Hanks, and then cut to the clinic. Delroy Lindo's back. Cheryl's got to go home. Kathleen's got to go home. She's working late. We have sort of missed that Kathleen has de facto become the most effective doctor of her group.
Well, she sat in with Colin and the surgery last week. Nobody else did. So maybe she's feeling more confident after learning how to do the things. I don't know.
I mean, that's not in the script, but hopefully Joanna Going felt that way about the character, because that's all we're gonna get. Worse character development than soap opera, folks. Going to extremes. Okay, so Delroy Lindo brought her some breadfruit as a snack, as a thank you.
For he had an eye problem and she put Visine in his eyes. And again, great chemistry.
So the reason
good.
This should be weird is because he's older than her and she brings that up later.
Yeah.
He does bring up that he's just too old for her. That's even before we establish I just want a maid. I want a wife to be my maid, is what I need out of life. You can ride horses, but you got to clean.
Yeah.
So like at this point, it's like, it's cute and it's awkward. She has like a professional development arc where she's like, I wasn't trying to lead him on. Was I trying to lead him on?
Yeah. Like I'm a new doctor. And if I did something, I need to know so I don't do it again. Yeah.
What if the next guy doesn't look like Delroy Lindo? Okay. Yeah. So we then cut to commercial probably, and we come back and we're doing an interview montage.
I took a snapshot of Kim holding that cute baby.
Did you take a snapshot of Kim laid out before that shot? Okay.
No, I didn't. It was Kim, that baby was so cute and was just latched onto his finger. It was so sweet.
Kim goes from being sexy to cute and back, not really back because Cheryl says something terrible at the end. But one of the things we start with is the implication that one of the maids worked for a gay couple. Another maid stole a lung from the medical hospital, presumably. Sexy Kim interview style. And then we get to he's asking the baby's mom about her downtime.
Yeah.
Like her hobbies. And Cheryl's like, Kim, we're not social workers. We don't care about their hobbies. We want to find somebody who's going to work hard for long hours for low wages. That's what we do. And it's just like, yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, this is shit.
Postscript, Cheryl changed her name to Condoleezza and went to work for the White House and killed 1 million poor people. Okay.
Wow.
Well, I mean, she did.
I'm not going to stand up for Condi.
Yeah. Or Cheryl in some
Cheryl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Cheryl, of course, is not going to have a romantic subplot, really, because she doesn't get to be sexual at all because she's a Black woman. Okay. We then cut to class where Wilford Brimley, fuck daddy, is talking about medical stuff to remind everybody they're in school too. He leaves with what I wanted the rest of the episode to be about. Why is the skull round?
Why is the skull round? If Andy Lauer had been in that class, if Charlie had been in that class, he would have been obsessing the rest of the episode about why the skull was round.
Yeah. Instead,
he would have had a million different weird theories. It would have been much better than what it
Yeah. He would have been like playing with a soccer ball and been like, Eureka, I've got it, and run off at the end. It would have been great.
Nope, not this episode.
Not this episode. Instead, this is where Kathleen gets another present from Delroy Lindo along with an invitation to dinner.
Yes.
And this is where I noticed something that is going to be in this episode quite a bit. Shitty ADR. They have the actors redub their lines a lot in this. And so this show runs 17 million episodes or 17. This is episode 6. Joanna Going is looping her dialogue like it's already been canceled. Like when I joke about Carl Lumley not being around because he's on the fucking set for a pilot.
Yeah.
I think Carl Lumley's on the set for a pilot. Like this was a terrible idea. And they're just all like, gotta get the fuck out, gotta get the fuck out, gotta get the fuck out. Like we could check the years, but it's entirely possible Colin took a break from his fucking network job to shoot a guest spot on Star Trek The Next Generation. Like this show is like, you can tell that people are realizing that it really sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So but there's also in this scene, because Alex is with Kathleen, where she admits, he's a little too old for me. He's like 20 years older than me. And Alex says, I'm all about a May-December relationship. And I'm like, ew, you fucked somebody in a body bag.
Yep. Yeah.
An alive person, but you fucked somebody in a body bag. Why is anybody taking relationship advice from you? Like,
that's how your Andy Lauer and the skull episode would end. He runs off with the soccer ball going Eureka, and he trips or he runs past them fucking in a tree where she's got him chained up like a fly, and she's the mama spider and like doing fucking what was it called? Army Hammer, cannibalism kink. Like, yeah.
Gross.
Like she's eating his hair or something. Like it's fucking repulsive. Okay, cut to. Yes, so, and Alex is like, I'm a great proponent of the winter-spring romance. And it's also, here's the other thing, though. Like, the age discrepancy, I will say this for the 90s. The 90s got a little bit more self-aware about it than, like, when we watched Automan, we talked about this. There were episodes of Automan with 68-year-old dudes married to, like, 25-year-olds.
Yeah.
They're just 48-year-olds married to 25-year-olds. Like, this was the era where Clint Eastwood started dating women in their 40s.
Yeah.
He was in his 70s at the time or whatever, but they were in their 40s. Yeah. Like, it's a bit different. I don't even know. Paul Newman was weird about that, actually. Paul Newman always, like, would Paul Newman felt like he could toggle. Anyway, so then we cut to, this is where she also worries that he's encouraging
Yeah.
people too much. And Alex wants to ask what the dude looks like. Okay, we then cut to the clinic where Charlie is back with his patient Desmond, and Benjamin is there. Benjamin cannot understand him either.
Yeah.
so
And there's
then
this whole
Charlie-
dialogue about how there's hundreds of patois, and I couldn't possibly know them all.
He's from Chamberley Village. They got a whole different one in Chamberley. Chamberley will have like 250 people in it. Like, it's pretty significantly sized village for this island too. So it's just like, how many, like, what is the fucking population of this island? Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, if you have 100 different patois and 250 people speak each, that's not a small island.
That's not a small island, but also you would think there would be some kind of crossover,
right?
or
There's
a
no
common language that they all speak
to interact with one another.
Yeah.
No, there's not. Except when they talk about Gone with the Wind. Okay. But this also is where the kid who plays Desmond is sitting there. And I don't know how, like, this kid, I hope, didn't keep a journal about his experience being a movie star. Because he's sitting there going, my belly hurts. My belly hurts. I ate some bad fish. My belly hurts. My belly hurts. Tum tum. Right here, pointing at it. My tummy. Tummy
he
kids.
keeps like,
and Charlie's like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
When did your people get here? Oh, was I not supposed to say that?
And then he goes on this totally unnecessary, but I think it was written to be comical, binge of slapping himself. Like, does it hurt here? Ow, 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 slapping his face. And then, how about here? Ow, ow, hitting his shoulder, his back, his neck. It's
charades. It's
yes, he's playing
charades.
charades, but like doing that thing that old racist people do where they speak loudly and enunciate because they think that will help the native whatever speaker understand their English better.
Charlie became Ben Shapiro. Okay. So that's how Charlie fails out of medical school. They're like, he's like, it's some sort of a disease, right? And everybody's like, what? And he's like, all the girls I've been with told me if it was wet, it'd be a disease. And they're just like, it just ends with Cheryl and Joanna sharing a look. Okay.
So he gets
able to make that grosser with the morgue with necrophilium on, but
gross.
No,
so they discover that it's his stomach that hurts,
yep.
even though we all knew. We all knew.
My stomach hurts. Doctor, Charlie,
my stomach hurts. And Charlie runs to the cabinet, comes back with a big bottle of pink, and it's Pepto. And I think they say it's Pepto.
And he says, it's Pepto. I don't like Pepto.
Yeah. And he says, I don't like it. It doesn't work.
Do you not like this stuff? Do you not like the stuff in this bottle? You didn't say anything, did you?
And then, so he says, okay, well, we'll get you antibiotics. Oops, we don't have any antibiotics. So we're running into the same problem as the last episode where they just don't have enough supplies. Or 2 episodes ago, maybe. I don't remember.
Which has not been mentioned again this episode.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't out of Izine. But then he's like, I'm going to bring it to you in Chamberley. You just go.
Yeah.
And he pushes the kid out of there.
Which is also incredibly problematic, and you need to work on your bedside manner.
Well, especially since it will turn out that the kid did take it as he was being forcibly ejected from the clinic, and Charlie wasn't going to help him. Charlie did not ask if anybody else in the clinic spoke this kid's patois. Charlie didn't actually ask if the kid could understand him. Like, Charlie totally assumed this kid could not understand him using the same words with the same meanings. Okay, we then cut to Kim and the maid. They've hired a maid. Kim's yelling at her to stop cleaning his room. She's like, I'm just going to clean it up. And he's like, don't clean it up. She's like, I want to put it in the proper order. And he's like, it's in the proper disorder for Kim. And she's like, wow, Kim, you are fucking hot. You are a hot little white boy, but you are a pig. Fine, I'll put your shit back. It'll be chaka chaka. And
Chaka
they're just
chaka.
like
Yeah.
looking at the camera and they're like, authentic. Cut to Kathleen and Roger. And here is where we are in for one hell of a spinoff. Kathleen gets to Roger's house / ranch. He rides up on a horse, and it is just like, oh, black cowboy. Oh, black
I know.
cowboy.
I was in for it.
Just like,
He's charming. He's
Yep.
friendly. He's considerate. He's riding up on a horse. He's got
Yep.
a cowboy hat on. Oh, yes.
Yep.
He's handsome. He's
Yep.
older. I'll take an older man if she doesn't want him. Jesus Christ. Whatever.
So, yeah. Like, do you work here? And he's like, why the fuck? Like, no. Like, this is my fucking ranch. Like, why would I work here? Like, what are you talking about? No, It's my ranch. And it's just like, I love horses. And he's like, oh yeah, this is my horse too. And she's like, let me ask you a question. He's like, okay. And she's like, did you ask me out to dinner to thank me or to date you? And he's like, to thank you and to date you.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. And then he's like, why are you single, Joanna, going? And she's like, because
the planets haven't aligned or
planets
something.
haven't aligned. And he's like, I have the same planets.
Again, smooth as fuck, dude.
And then you've never seen Get Shorty.
No, I haven't.
Jesus Christ, you need to watch Get Shorty tonight. Tonight, Emily. Tonight.
Is that the one that John Lurie did the soundtrack for?
Maybe. It's so fucking good.
John Lurie did the soundtrack for it.
Does that mean you can watch it? Like, are you allowed?
I can. Probably won't.
Didn't Andy Kindler tell you to watch Beverly Hills Cop? Anyway.
Yeah.
Also, Emily did get Al Pacino for this episode. She saw him on the street. She threw her panties at him, but he did not say yes.
I did not throw my panties at Al Pacino.
Okay. So they go for a horseback ride because he's still a cool dude.
Yeah.
And, maybe he'll wear her down, maybe. Okay. So then we cut to Desmond and Charlie. Charlie has gone to Chamberlain to bring him the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond's like, dude, you fucking kicked me out of your hospital. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with white people, Charlie? And Charlie goes, not all white people. Teach me some patois. And so they then...
Desmond invites him back to his place for food. Dinner.
His family dinner. Where the joke is, nobody can understand anything. And yes, there is a lot of talking, but it is a table with 9 people at it, and they are intentionally talking over one another.
Yeah.
I do not believe for a second, if you did not listen to one person talking in this patois, you wouldn't be able to understand it.
Yeah, agreed.
But then they offer him a beer.
But not a beer. They use the patois. Yeah.
They use the patois. I just am looking at these notes to say the Chet Hanks story in caps right now, and I'm feeling very, very on the spot. But yes, and so it ends with Charlie learning how to say, I want a beer in patois. This could have led to Charlie speaking patois again in the episode.
Yeah.
He does not.
It kind of did.
Well,
kind of.
He tries to speak patois when he's being racist in a bit, but we'll get to that. First, Kathleen is like, do I know any black women who might date Delroy Lindo? Also, Delroy Lindo told her that he wants a wife to manage the ranch. Right? Like,
right.
And she's
like,
can
I say something? Can I say something? I am in a professional profession where I have been hit on by people who are not in the profession, just in my day-to-day going about my business. And it is very uncomfortable. It is incredibly insulting because this has happened to me when somebody was like, oh, you should come work with me doing this other job that does not require the level of education that I have, etc. I'm not trying to be snobby. You be your phlebotomist or you be whatever you want to be. But I have Joanna Going in this instance is working on getting a very specialized degree. That does not cross over to managing a ranch. She might be able to manage a ranch, but it's a little insulting to be like, you should come marry me and then work for me.
Right. They should
Okay.
have to.
I'm just gonna put that out there. It made me very uncomfortable because that has happened to me and it is insulting.
It's a bad flex, but also this show is not going to be about Joanna going dating Delroy Lindo.
Unfortunately,
we don't
they have
deserve
such
that show.
Good chemistry.
What we need is
Jesus
them,
Christ.
and they double date with Colin and Kim.
Yes.
Right? Like that's how this goes. And Alex,
and they all work on the ranch together.
Yeah. It's great.
Oh my God. Kim would be great on the ranch.
Great on the ranch. With little animals. He already had a goat in one episode. Okay.
Yeah, but he would be like shirtless on a horse. Come on.
And he could be messy out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we cut to Kathleen and Beth from the library episode. Now, the library episode is that we find out that Beth and the other librarians conspire with Carl Lumley to give students bad information.
Yeah.
Kathleen sees her having lunch and is like, hey man, remember when you fucked me up for that assignment that was really stupid? Do you by any chance
have a boyfriend?
Want a man?
Yeah.
Do you want
maybe if you were getting some hot dickings, you would fuck with the students.
Yeah, possibly. Would you like a rugged but sweet man? And you're just kind of like, all right, they needed to do some weird thing where Joanna wakes up at Delroy Lindo's like idyllic, like little house on the ranch with a great view. But then she like sees like his favorite baseball players, the same one as her dad's or something. Like that's what this story needed. Instead, what it's got is, so there's this black guy. I need to give you this.
I noticed you were black. And would you be interested in dating another black person?
A black person. I can acknowledge that I find him attractive, but I cannot pursue him on an ABC show in 1990. This is not Fox. Also,
Beth does not seem like she is that much older than Kathleen. A little bit older, but not that much older.
Not much older. Beth went to a real library school. She didn't go to the Jantique equivalent of a library school. Okay, there's this weird, like, I don't like blind dates because it's sometimes not safe because apparently
it's like they want to acknowledge it, but they can't quite come out and say.
Because, well, let's not forget when it was, remember in like the aughts when the word consent all of a sudden made people freak out?
Yeah.
And then like 2 years later when it was enthusiastic and everybody was like, wait a second, what? I need to vote for Donald Trump right now. Like, where is he? But anyway, yes, not all men. Why are you fixing me up? Because you seem nice and he needs somebody to fucking tend his ranch, like he's fucking hot. Like,
even though you're a librarian and you have a library degree and you have a job.
You should go tend his ranch. We then cut to Alex and the maid. Alex says to the maid, you give good house.
I did not catch that.
Whatever, cool. All right. So this is where we get to the maid subplot. Not even conclusion. God, if it were only the conclusion. Some other lady shows up and says, I'm the fucking maid of this house. Why'd you hire this lady? And so now they start arguing with each other, the two maids, the original, the maid who has come in and revealed herself to be the original maid, calls her a thieving little no good, this new maid, because that lady knew that this house is taken for the maid. Multiple pins, but we also then get the white people plus Eric Alexander, the Americans, standing there going, the Westerners. Well, no, because the Jantique's in the West. The medical students. I'm just trying to think of a way to properly assign the amount of fucking privilege here. Standing there talking about, it's really weird that this house would come with a maid. A human being isn't a piece of furniture. And you're like, Kim, this is when you turn to them and go, that's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah.
And instead, Kim's just like, do.
But also, they needed somebody to clean up. Where has she been?
She yells at the other person about where she's been. And we established that these people who do not have stories on this show, but occasionally it is implied they have lives outside of catering to the needs of these
medical students,
these Fleischmans. No, because that sounds
that sounds a little
that doesn't sound right. It's God. Okay. To the extremes. We're gonna call them the extremes.
Extremes. Okay, perfect. The
extremes. It's the worst superhero team ever. Okay, so yeah. She was supposed to be there, but she went away, and they knew she was coming back, but nobody who's been there for 6 episodes plus 2 weeks from the pilot has ever heard that there's a maid that comes with the house. That arrangement, pin in that as well. Okay. Yeah. We then cut to Charlie saying goodbye to Desmond. And Charlie is singing Losing My Religion to Myself, which really dates.
But we had the Phil Collins shit last time, so.
And he takes the wrong path. We then cut to the maids. They have to pay off both. They have to pay off their new maid for the labor worked, and then they basically need to pay their old maid a retainer.
Yeah.
They don't understand why they have this house that has a set maid, but the maid is not included in their rent. Which, props for the maid getting to negotiate her own contract. However, they portray it as some weird weird cultural thing that the white people's houses have maids that pre-assigned, and the only reason it's a pigsty is because she's had family business.
Yeah.
Very weird. And Alex can't figure out why they have to pay both of them, for labor work, because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So we've established, even though Cheryl wants to pay people low wages for hard work and long hours, Alex is a bigger piece of shit, which we knew. Cut to Charlie lost in the jungle. Cut back home. Okay. This is where we are. I thought we were close to being fucking done with this episode. But you had told me that Charlie was going to run into his friend from the forest again. And so I was like, we're still fucked somewhere here. But first, we've got Kim has made himself a shirt.
Yes.
Which I guess might have been a subplot that I blocked, but maybe also not, because it's a terrible show. Alex says he looks very Peter Fonda, which is one fucker of a reference for the year 1992.
Yeah.
You are ostensibly trying to appeal to 20-somethings and
you're making references your parents might get.
Right. Okay. The new maid, or the original maid, is pissy with everybody. So then Cheryl has to go talk to her.
Yeah.
There's some really weird optics to that.
Well, I mean, and this is not to justify it, but the argument is that Cheryl is the one that hired the new maid.
There is
in the first place. So she has to be the one to rectify the situation. But yes, there are weird optics to that.
And it's like they're in the show too. It's like the show's we can have Cheryl say certain things that would be racist for sure if the white people said it. But so we're going to have Erica Alexander say it. They've thrown that all out with Charlie. They're just Charlie's just going to be, racially insensitive,
and culturally insensitive.
Insensitive. Everything insensitive.
Yeah.
But you love him, right? You think he's adorable, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
He wants to tell you all about what he thinks of Megan Thee Stallion. Okay. So we cut to, so they have this weird scene where it ends with the maid going, Cheryl's like, dude, look, I'm sorry, but we literally didn't know of your existence. And the maid's like, I don't want your excuses. I just want your apology if you mean it. You can't be taking away a woman's work.
Yeah.
Which is this really interesting thing that they just do for colonial quaintness. But there is you can't take away a person's job.
Their livelihood. Yeah.
Their livelihood. But also, how did they know they were taking it's a whole where's this landlord that we were supposed to see that we met last episode or 2 episodes? Cut to the jungle. Charlie and the big guy. that he met on
Charlie's
the beach.
lost the 7 foot tall man who's probably 6'5".
Right.
Comes upon him. Charlie is trying to talk to him. The guy doesn't talk back.
Guy does not talk back. Charlie's like, hey man, don't mug me. Don't.
My friends are going to meet me here in
Right
10
here.
minutes.
And
So if
mess
anything
with me,
happens, yeah.
I know martial arts. Can you hear what I'm saying, sir?
The condescending
Paul
sir
Guy
again. Jesus
just looks
Christ.
at him, walks away. Commercial break. Charlie running after him, going, hey now, I have a gun. I have some theories on why this show is not available streaming. Okay, they get back to the crossroads. Charlie says, thank you, murder mugger man. If you ever need any help, not involved in mugging or murdering me, like you obviously would, because you are a black man.
Who doesn't speak, who doesn't
Charlie.
meet my fucking cultural expectations.
You can call Charlie and I will help you for those things. Dude walks off into the forest jungle. Charlie's like, the road's over here, man. Charlie goes down the correct path this time. I seriously thought he was going to go the wrong way again.
I did too.
And he's like, I need to go to sleep. I'm tight. Cut to the school, presumably the next morning. So none of this so has Charlie been in the jungle all night? Maybe he's been in the jungle all night.
Maybe he's been in the jungle. Yeah, I don't know.
Kathleen checks in on Beth after the date, and they had a nice
time.
They had a nice time, and it just basically ends with girl giggles.
So I found this, I don't want to say problematic, but I didn't like the way she was imposing herself on Beth. The way it was like, so do you have anything you want to tell me? Like about that date I set you up on?
So, yeah, it's like, this is one of those.
She couldn't take a hint that this woman didn't want to talk about it.
Right. Like, you didn't want him, so it's none of your business if I keep him.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't any of your business. This isn't a Jane Austen novel. Like, you're missing the point of the Jane Austen novels, Kathleen. Okay.
But it turns out Beth had a good time. It was romantic. He was sweet. Whatever. Like, we knew he would be.
Okay. Pin in that, because apparently we need a pin in that, which makes no sense. We then cut to the house where nobody likes the OG maid.
Yeah.
She's fucking up Cheryl's clothes. She put everything where Kim can't find it.
She's what we cut. The scene we cut to is her cleaning a rug over a balcony. And it's dirty like I've never seen anything be dirty. Like, you live in the fucking Wild West dirty. And she's shaking it out, cleaning it, brushing the sand out over the table where Kim is sitting, looking like studying. And he's got to lift up his stuff and throw the sand off. So that was pretty annoying. But yes,
waka.
Cheryl's got a shirt or a dress or something that's pink, but it should be white. And this gets even more problematic when Cheryl's like, Kim says, like, you said we needed a maid. We've got a maid. Like, this is, and she said, yeah, but I didn't want to work for her. Because the maid suggests that she separates her whites from her colors.
Cool. So then we cut to Alex and Kathleen at school again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, Kathleen has had nothing to do with the maid subplot, and neither has Charlie. I don't know. It's just a side plot. Alex is talking about how it's bad to pop zits, but that was like what he did the most in high school.
It was disgusting. It was gross.
It was pretty gross. Roger's back. He brought another present for
Kathleen.
He said he's a little sad because, like, he doesn't want to wait for Beth to move in and start taking care of him. He wants that now.
Yeah.
And, like, he's like,
Kathleen says, good things come to those who wait.
Yeah. And Beth had a good time. And so it's this really weird thing about how, like, see, she didn't miss out on anything with him. Like, it's really bad.
It's really bad. But it wraps up that you said it was like, it's probably not necessary because I didn't care. I knew that she didn't want to date him, and the other woman said that the date went well, so I didn't really need to know that
Nope.
he thought the date went well is also.
But also that like he's not a man who
I didn't
not a
need that.
patient man.
I just didn't need the closure.
No.
Like, I feel like
There's no
there for closure, but
the closure is Kathleen waving at them while they're at dinner.
Yeah.
That's the closure. The closure is Kathleen seeing him being tender towards Beth.
Yeah.
That's the closure.
Like, I didn't need the scene. But he brings her a breadfruit tree to plant to share the breadfruit with her roommates.
Kathleen's like, Eric Alexander is just black. I mean, maybe you should date her. Very weird scene. I'm just kidding.
No, they don't say that. Thank goodness.
The security guard comes out and asks Delroy and Lindo to leave. Is what happened. Okay. Cut to Roy D comes out and is like, "Oh, fuck him."
No, he does not. We don't see Roy D this episode. We see him next time.
Oh,
I
didn't watch it. I didn't watch it this time.
I did.
Okay, so then the last scene is they are having popcorn, which apparently took forever for Alex to convince the bartender to make, because
I think he
is an American delicacy.
I think it took him a long time to get it from America.
That's not how he implies it, though. Anyway, they bitch about the maid again. She washed somebody's toothbrush. They're going to start hiding things. They go, it's kind of good to have a relatively clean house living in a tropical paradise.
Yeah.
And Alex is like, it's a lot better than my apartment in college. What do you think, Charlie? And then we see Charlie is sleeping.
So he got rid of his insomnia that he diagnosed himself with by, I'm using finger quotes for the listeners, learning patois and getting lost in the jungle.
I want a beer in patois.
And getting lost in the jungle?
Yes.
Stupid. Okay. The end.
There's a different universe where we live in where this became a movie starring Will Smith as the silent, tall, magic black guy. Anyway, I don't know if that's a better or worse reality. Probably worse. I don't know.
I don't know.
Such a bad reality anyway.
Yeah.
Because this show existed in ours. So what's next, Emily?
So episode 7 is called, and I can say the name of it, A Bridge Too Far. Dr. Davis is back. Can I read you the description from IMDb?
Please.
Alex and Dr. Davis get a little kinky. Excuse me. They fucked in a body bag or whatever. And the resulting hernia forces Alex to the hospital for surgery. Meanwhile, Cheryl struggles to cope with depression fueled by a patient's refusal of treatment for a serious ailment. So they've been kinky. Their whole relationship has been kinky, first of all. And second of all, Cheryl's going to get depressed because somebody is like willfully dying of something. Like,
cool.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I can say Roy D's got some funny lines, or in the context of the way coming up next on the way it was spliced together. It's kind of funny. He calls Alex a pervert, which I think
that's cool.
Which I'm down with, because even though I'm not a kink shamer, I'm a little disturbed by the fucking in a body bag situation. It's disturbing.
There's also some interesting context for that, considering it's his employee.
Oh yes.
That is, having an inappropriate relationship.
Didn't even think about that. I
told her she can only fuck the boys if she eats them at the end of the year.
So I'm looking forward to that next time.
It's been a while since Roy D's admired Wilford Brimley fuck daddy's ass. I need that back in my life.
Well, I don't know that.
That's the story of how Colin and Kim. That's their future.
A little story about Colin and Kim. Sorry, I'm done.
I mean, I'm down for it.
I am too.
That could be a better. That's a much better version of the extremes.
Yeah.
Than we've got. Yeah, cool. We'll be back with more of this fucking show.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for joining us, for listening. Next week we'll talk about episode 7 of Going to Extremes, called A Bridge Too Far. Andrew.
Wait.
Yeah.
Before we go, what's this episode called? I don't think we got that on the record, Emily.
You know what? I've already clicked away.
Articulate. Could you enunciate for me, Emily?
You know how the internet works. I've left the page. I can't go back. So sorry, I forgot. So Andrew, I guess I will see you in television land.
Oh, Emily, I'll see you in television land. However, everyone who is miserable with us right now, Doctor Who specials next month. So we will be taking a break from this shit and fasting forwarding to the future for season 9 of Onesies before we return to our dismal past of season 8.
Yes.
When we return to Extremes sometime in the future.
Yes.
But even next week, we are just continuing this. And also, I saw somebody say, do you think they know they need to fix what they did to Donna? Somebody else posted a picture of Freeman as like, they are going to fuck it up worse. Because that is what they do to the women on Doctor Who. But that's what we'll be talking about next month. Instead, next week, we will be talking about
Going to Extremes, episode 7. 7. Only 7.
Of 10. Or of 17. Do you have any idea how much better Dracula the series is than this? Just so much more enjoyable.
So much better.
The Kim Coates. Oh, there's nothing like
I know, there's no Kim Coates.
Never a Kim Coates. Oh my god. All right. Well,
okay.
Everyone.
See you next time. Watch something you love. Cherish it. See you in television land.